everyone, I'm here today with what is going to be undoubtedly a very long video, so you might want to get yourself a drink because I'm going to need one because this is going to be a lot of talking, or maybe some snacks because this is all the books that I've picked up in June and July of this year. I should have done separate hauls for this, not gonna lie, but I didn't really have the time or the motivation to film. I have that today. So I'm just gonna throw it all in one video and hope that this doesn't take 10 years to film and edit and for you to watch. So I'll crack on first with the physical books. The first book I have to show you is I Owe You One by Sophie Kinsella. This is an adult contemporary novel that follows a young woman named Fixie. She lives with her family, though I don't remember exactly which members of the family now. That's quite bad. They have a shop and there's loads of different interesting family dynamics and loads of things, dramatic things happening within the family, and there's a romance interest. It's pretty typical Sophie Kinsella in the romance aspect. But yeah, there's so much extra family dynamic thrown into this and I'd highly recommend it. I didn't actually enjoy this to begin with as much as her other works, and I thought that I was going to really hate this one, but I actually ended up giving it 5 stars. So I do recommend this one. It's a most recent release and I actually picked up this paperback copy from Tesco for dirt cheap. It's worth checking out. Next I have 2 physical books that were sent to me from Avon Books, which are an imprint of HarperCollins, and basically they asked me if I wanted to sign up to their newsletter and mailing list, and as a result they would send me 2 physical books. Of course I was like, yes. So the first book they sent me is The Girl Before You, which is an advanced copy, and this comes out in August. But basically there's an ebook version of this that's already out from what I can remember, and I think it's a debut as well. This is by, I've just realised I didn't even say the author's name, how terrible, Nicola Rayner. I'm really looking forward to picking this up. It's a thriller. I don't know anything more about it than that, but I'm going to be reading it really soon. The other book that they sent me is a slightly older book, and it's one of their historical fictions, and this is An Orphan's Wish by Molly Green. This is a World War II novel set in Liverpool in 1943. I love historical fiction, so I can't wait to check this one out, but I might leave it till the weather gets a bit colder, although it's quite unseasonably cold today. I'm wearing a jumper and it's August. Hello. But yeah, I'm going to leave this till it gets a bit more chilly outside and then give this a go. From there I'm going to go on to the audiobooks that I picked up, and there's only one, and that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. I've not actually kind of remembered a single thing about this book actually. I just know that people talk quite highly about it, and I think it's to do with war. I don't know. Now I have a bunch of Kindle books to show you, so I won't say too much about these because this is going to take a long time. In case you haven't noticed in the title, there are over 70 books in this haul. This is going to be long enough without all the details. So the first book that I picked up on Kindle is The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. This I picked up because it was 99p and I've heard great things about this author's work. Then I picked up What If It's Us by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. Again, this was 99p and I've heard mixed things about this one actually, but I've read quite a few Adam Silvera books, so I wanted to check this one out too. Then we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I own a few Samantha Shannon books now, but I've still not read any of them. I've heard quite a few good things about this one, and that it's high fantasy and there's dragons, and I've been wanting to check out more fantasy, and this was 99p, so I was like, oh, bye. Another one that I picked up for 99p is The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. This cover's stunning and that's why I picked it up. I've gone back to some really bad book buying habits here, but you know, 99p is just such a temptation and I can't always resist. Next we have The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. I've heard quite good things about this one, so when I saw it was 99p I was like, perfect chance to pick it up. Then I bought The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I've been picking up a lot of Brandon Sanderson's works for years now and still not actually reading them. I do want to start reading them, it's just finding the time, honestly. I want to kind of properly dedicate my time to them. I've been wanting to get into more fantasy. I don't struggle with well-written fantasy, so I feel like I will get on really well with his books. I just need to find the chance to get stuck in. Next we have Night Owls by Jen Bennett. I don't know anything about this one, it was just another 99p impulse buy. Then we have Rachel's Holiday by Marian Keyes. I've been picking up a lot of this author's work too, even though I've never actually read any of her books, so I don't know that I'm going to like her writing, but at the same time I feel like it's something that I would enjoy. Just, you know, women's contemporary fiction, so I don't see the harm in continuing to collect. Then I picked up Moving by Jenny Eclair. This was also 99p. I picked it up because it was in the bestsellers bit at 99p, like flying out, and everyone seemed to be loving it. So I don't know anything about it. I don't really see anyone talking about it, but I thought I'd grab it. Next I picked up I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. This is a psychological thriller. So for 99p I was like, I have to pick this up, I have no choice. I think I own another one of this author's works as well. Sometimes I lie, but I've not read that yet either. I need to do some reading is what this haul is telling me. Next we have The Long Earth Book 1 by Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. I've actually read this one before but on audiobook, and I didn't like it very much on audiobook, but my logic back then was I struggle with fantasy on audio sometimes, and maybe it just wasn't the right medium for me to pick up the story, so I'd always thought in the back of my mind, if I see it cheap, I'll pick up the physical copy or the Kindle copy and give it another go, and it was at 99p, so I decided the time had come. Then I picked up The Obsession by Nora Roberts. Again, this was 99p. I grabbed this because I've heard great things about Nora Roberts' writing. I've never tried any of her books, and if I have, I've forgot about it. So I really wanted to give this author a go, and 99p is a perfect chance to do so. Then I picked up The Forgotten Village by Lorna Cook, and my voice is going. This is described as being a gripping and heart-wrenching page turner. So I was like, I'm in the mood for some of that, and I liked the cover, and I'm just a sucker for 99p books. Then I picked up A Perfect Cornish Summer by Philippa Ashley. The weather was probably nice this day when I was doing my little shopping spree, and I was like, oh yes, bit of summer contemporary. I know Cornwall quite well, I've been there a lot. I want to read about Cornwall in summer. Next we have A Thousand Roads Home by Carmel Harrington. I've read one Carmel Harrington book in the past. Can't think what it's called at all. I absolutely adored the book, and I'm pretty sure I did an individual book review, so I'll leave that linked in the cards and also the description down below, because this book is probably going to be as good as that one. And if it isn't, oh well, I've taken the risk. She's become an auto-buy author, so I just grabbed this for no other reason than I've loved one of her previous books. Next I picked up Wedding Season by Katie Ford. 99p, bit of fluffy reading is probably what my logic was. Again, a lot of these were bought on the same day that was probably sunny, so. I also bought TikTok, which is the second book in the D.S. Grace Allendale series by Mel Sharratt. I just realised that I hadn't picked up many thrillers and wanted to grab a few. I then grabbed The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. I think I've read one Sally Hepworth book in the past and didn't actually like it, but I'm willing to give her another go, so yeah, I saw this for 99p and was like, okay, I'll give it a go. Then I borrowed a book from Prime Reading on Amazon. I've not actually read this one yet, so I can't comment on how I've got on with it, but this is The Beekeeper's Promise by Fiona Valpy. And this is set in France, I think, in 1938. And will probably be right up my alley. It just depends on how well it's been written, basically, as to whether I get on with it or not. Then I bought Dead Guilty by Helen Durrant. I also got the Dark Yorkshire series, books 1 to 3, which is by J.M. Dalgleish. And was this part of... oh no, I purchased. I'm not sure whether I purchased this one or whether it was a Kindle Unlimited one. Then I got Hush Hush by Mel Sharratt. 99p. It's the first book in the D.S. Grace Allendale series. Then back to the idea of the fact of I was looking for summer reads. I've got Summer on the Italian Lakes by Lucy Coleman. Thrown in with another thriller here. Murder on the Levels by David Hodges. This is the first book in the Detective Kate Hamblin mystery series. This one is totally understanding that I bought, as it just looks right up my street, and this is The Honeymoon by Rona Halsall, I'm not sure, and it's a psychological thriller. Then I bought The Colours of Love by Rita Bradshaw. This is a World War II novel. Next we have The Hideaway by Sheila O'Flanagan. Then we have Divided Loyalties by Patricia SCANLAN. This is about a marriage that's under pressure. The woman wants a baby and the husband doesn't. Then we have Walkers by Graham Masterton. I think I've heard about other books to do with this author, but I've never picked any of them up, so I just thought I'd grab this one as it was 99p. Then we have The Secret Child by Caroline Mitchell. The Bad Mothers Book Club by Kerris Stainton. Then we have Red Notice by Andy McNabb. I don't know anything about this at all. Apparently it's being turned into a film that's going to come out next year. Revenge on the Levels, which is book 2 in the Kate Hamblin mystery book series. I think I've already hauled the first one earlier in this video because the name of the author, David Hodges, looks familiar. I'm that terrible. Next we have I can't talk, this video is getting too long. Appleby Farm by Kathy Bramley. The Mother's Mistake by Ruth Heald. This is a psychological thriller. I've seen a few other people haul this, so we'll have to wait and see what everyone thinks of this, and hopefully I'll get to it in a timely manner too, because I just really feel, well, depending on the weather, I'm feeling a bit desperate to read a thriller. I'm also feeling a bit desperate to just read some contemporary, so we'll have to see what oh my goodness, my voice. Next we have This Is Me by Shari Lowe. I've either read another book by this author or I've at least bought some, because I recognise the name, but I'm not sure whether I've read anything by her or not, to be honest. Then we have Bridesmaids by Zara Stoneleigh. I just wanted to check this out. It's also blurbed by Carmel Harrington. A Time to Kill by John Grisham. I've not checked out much John Grisham yet, so I really want to try more of his work. Mother Dear by Nova Lee Mayer. This is a thriller. I picked this up on Kindle Unlimited. Another one that I picked up on Kindle Unlimited. Oh no, wait, I think I purchased this one. Oh, I'm not sure. Could have been either. This is Trance, which is book 1 in the Alex Madison series by Adam Southwood. Next we have A Journey Through Charms and Defence Against the Dark Arts, which is Harry Potter A Journey Through book 1 by Pottermore Publishing. I picked this up on Kindle Unlimited because it's probably just a cheap money grab at this point using the Harry Potter name, but I wanted to check it out. Next we have Lumberjanes Volume 2 by Noelle Stevenson. I'm actually currently reading this and enjoying it a lot. I read Volume 1 either last year or the year before and enjoyed it a lot, so I am ready to continue on with the series, and I've seen that most of them are on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm hoping to pick up a lot of them this month. Also on Kindle Unlimited, I picked up Sandman Volume 1 by Neil Gaiman. If you haven't noticed, I like to pick up graphic novels and comics on Kindle Unlimited when I can, because it's just such a cheap way to consume them. They're quite pleasant and easy to read on my phone, and yeah, I want to work through a lot of them while I've got a free trial of Kindle Unlimited again. So I've also picked up Giant Days Volume 1 by John Allison, The Wicked and the Divine Volume 1 by Kieran Gillen, Lock and Key Volume 1 by Joe Hill, Lucifer 2015 to 2017 Volume 1 Cold Heaven by Holly Black. I was so happy when I stumbled across this, Goosebumps Complete Collection books 1 to 62. So these are obviously by R.L.STINE, but this one's been published by Spooky Media. And it's just all of the first 62 books thrown into one volume. I own a lot of them, but I don't own all of them. And I've been wanting to reread my Goosebump books for so long now. So I'm thinking that I'll reread my physical copies of the ones that I own, and interspersed in that, I will try and pick up the ones in this volume that I don't own, so I can check those out and read them as well, because I am craving some Goosebumps. Then we have Dark Game, which is the first book in the Detective Kelly Porter series by Rachel Lynch. I read Bitter Edge in July, which is the 4th book in this series, and I absolutely adored it, and so I was like, I need to go and read the rest of the series. I want to know this police person's like background, or the family history, or the area history, and so yeah, I went straight out and got this. Then we have Longborn by Joe Baker. I don't know anything about this. I think it's a historical fiction, if I can remember correctly. I also bought The Queen's Fool by Philippa Gregory. Philippa Gregory is another one of those authors whose works I've been accumulating, with the idea that I'll read them eventually. I've still only read one of her books, which was The Other Billing Girl, which I quite enjoyed. And since then I've bought most of her books on Kindle and just haven't read them yet. Next I bought Penshaw, which is a DCI Ryan mystery, and it's book 13 in the series by L.J. Ross. Now finally, the final section of this video requires more drink. But this is all of the books that I received from publishers via NetGalley in return for a nice review. There are quite a few of these too, and to save myself the embarrassment of not knowing what a lot of them are about, I'll just tell you the title, the author, and when they're due to be published, or when they were published if they've already been published. And if I do know something about them, that'll be a quick bonus thing thrown in. So the first book I've got here is an Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This came out on the 25th of September. We have Take It Back by Kia Abdullah, and this came out on the 8th of August. Next we have Then She Vanishes by Claire Douglas. This came out on the 27th of June. Then we have Endgame by Daniel Cole. This comes out on the 5th of September. Then we have The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This came out on the 8th of August. Then we have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This came out on the 25th of July. Next we have 59 Memory Lane by Celia Anderson, and this came out on the 1st of April. Then we have book 2 in the Smoke Thieves series, which is The Demon World by Sally Green. I've still not read any Sally Green, and I've bought or acquired a lot of her books at this point, and I know full well that I've got the first book in this series. I'm pretty sure I got it off NetGalley last year. So I need to kind of sort myself out and actually catch up. This came out on the 1st of August. Next we have the book that I'm currently reading, and this is The End of the Line by Gray Williams. This came out on the 8th of July. I'm not liking it very much and I'm tempted to DNF it, but I always really hate DNFing, especially when it's a review book. So you'll have to keep an eye out for my August wrap up to see how I end up getting on with this and what I end up doing, but it's slowing my reading down so much because I don't like what I've read so far. Which is ironic because it's described as a fast-paced thriller set on the streets of London, rife with undercover magic. That's not what it feels like at all to me, but we'll save that for the review. Next we have Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. This comes out on the 27th of February 2020. Her Last Promise by Catherine Hughes is coming out on the 22nd of August. A Home from Home by Veronica Henry came out on the 25th of July. American Royals by Catherine McGee. This cover just stood out to me. I was like, oh, I want to check this out. It's also described as Crazy Rich Asians meets Gossip Girl. So I think this could be a lot of fun to read. And this comes out on the 5th of September. Then we have If Only I Could Tell You by Hannah Beckerman. This comes out on the 22nd of August. Dead Guilty by Michelle Davies also comes out on the 22nd of August. And the final book is The Wayward Girls by Amanda Mason, and this comes out on the 5th of September. So many books in this haul. Sorry that I ended up just throwing it all together in one video, but I thought it was just so much easier at this point. And yeah, if you have read any of these books, if you want to read any of these books, if you want to recommend me any books, let me know what books you've picked up recently. Please drop me a comment in the comments down below. And yeah, let's get a little discussion going about how terrible my book buying habits have been recently and how I need to rein myself back in. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!